95% of your business has come from trade shows. You're the face of the trade shows. Is that true?
Correct.
Are you the main guy that does the main talking when you go to trade shows?
Yes. Andre also has some shows that he does completely on his own as well, though.
Okay. I'm approaching you at a show. Talk to me. I'm a business owner because that's who you work with.
Well, sure.
I got 20 employees, which I don't, but what do you say to me?
If you had 20 employees, I would quickly pass you on to Andre or someone else with me.
Okay. Why would you do that?
Because the likelihood of the next guy that walks by having 1,000 while I'm talking to you that has 20 is pretty high. So I'm going to pass you off to someone that can handle that.
Okay, so Andre, you get the crumbs off the table.
I do get the crumbs. Yeah.
Okay, Andy, do you have the guts to say no to certain businesses? Like,
sure.
Which business, 20 or less, you don't want?
Well, I wouldn't say that I don't want it. It's just I'm going to let maybe the website pick up those ones. Yeah, it's the same amount of work virtually for me to do 20 as it is for me to do 1,000.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd rather that someone with fewer employees than 100 or a couple hundred be steered to the website and they can kind of place their own order.
So I'm at a trade show and you're not even really going to give me the time of day. You're going to say, listen, you got a good business, go to my website. We'll take care of you there.
It depends on how slow it is at the show, obviously. But if we're in the crux, you know how it is at these trade shows. They're in classes. They get released. We get swarmed as people, have that 30-minute break to walk through. I really have to be kind, but also sift through people very quickly.
How do you do it? What is the first question you ask?
Well, my first question normally is asking them what do they do for their employees over the holiday season. And from that response, I'll be able to tell a few things. A very common response that we love to hear is, oh, well, we just give them a gift card. And then my next question is always, how do you handle taxation then? And normally I'll get some sort of, response like, oh, we've got to pass it through payroll. It's a nightmare. Or they'll say, well, don't tell anyone, but we actually don't claim it. And so from one of those two answers, I'll normally pivot into the tax advantages of our product. And it's a de minimis compliant product.
When you talk about the tax advantages, do you have a document that you hand them?
We normally will do that after the fact, meaning as that conversation progresses. So no, I'm not handing out IRS documents at the trade show booth, but we do have a piece prepared that has those references that are specific to our program.
What do you call that document?
It's called my tax document.
Give me a second, I'll tell you exactly.
Yeah, what's it called, Dre?
Let me pull it up here.
I'm going to make a list of things you guys are going to send me. So carry on here. So you're talking to them, you find out that they do like giving gift certificates. You like that answer, and your response is usually towards the tax implications.
Tax implications is the easiest sell because we immediately do one of two things. We're gonna save the fiasco of having to run that gift through payroll because that mixes two departments. And so HR people hate having to deal with the tax piece and accounting piece. And so they don't like having to deal with that trouble of now taxing a gift. Employees complain back to them because they see it on their statement. Well, why did you tax me for this?
Oh man. And it's supposed to be a gift.
It's supposed to be a gift. Why am I getting taxed on this? And so that creates an HR sticking point. They don't like that conversation. And then the other issue is sheer cost. If you're paying taxes on it, normally they'll gross it up internally or pass it on to the employee for the taxes to be paid. Well, if they're grossing it up internally, meaning the company itself is covering that cost, then right out of the gate, I'm going to be 33% less than the gift card because there's no taxation on the product.
On your product, there's no taxation.
Correct. We're not a cash equivalent, which is, you'll pay sales tax at a grocery store, but we're not considered a cash equivalent by the IRS like a gift card, and so we do not have to pay, taxes don't have to be paid on the product.
So you cross that bridge and you're still talking with this person. What is their next level of interest? Where do you take it next?
Well, if they're engaging with me, then we'll go deeper in terms of, well, how are you distributing it? How are you making that $20 Walmart gift card emotionally impactful, as opposed to just checking a box that you gave a gift? And normally they don't have a good response for that. And so we'll pivot to things like our cards. We'll show them our holiday cards. We'll show them the messaging that can happen. We'll kind of walk them through how to make it emotionally impactful versus that gift card, which is utterly non-emotionally impactful.
Okay, how do you make it emotionally impactful? I'm curious. We're talking about a sheet of paper here that's the size of a dollar bill.
With our holiday cards, we always have those on display at the booth. We talk about messaging. We talk about how to make a more personal interaction, as opposed to just receiving a gift card in the mail.
How do you make it more personal?
Oh, we'll talk about it, about how we can even group or, their distribution by managers. So we'll get a list from a hospital and it'll have 13,000 employees, but we'll actually ship it in groups of, 50, 71, 84, 176, whatever radiology has 31 employees. We'll actually send them out that way so that individual department manager can have a personal, tangible interaction when they hand over that holiday card with the gift certificate stuffed inside. So we create a more human connection than just simply receiving a gift card in the mail.
I regret that I can't meet with you right now because I want to see this. It occurred to me, I've never seen this. Do you have one you can show me right now or mail me?
A card?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to see what the actual product looks like. I've seen pictures of it. Yeah, Andre, run, go get it. So you're
Yeah. Okay, so let's see how good I am at this.
nice.
That might be their card. This is for a hospital system. We can open it up. Open it up. In their case, it's a completely branded holiday card, front and back. They would open that up, and their certificate would be inside. And then there's a message from the CEO, a holiday message to them.
And the certificate is like the dollar bill type of thing. Is the person's name on the certificate? Is it that customized?
We can on smaller ones. Obviously, you never want to run the risk factor. So here's another one for another hospital system. You open it up, and there's their certificate. And then in this case, a much larger message in the case of Centra Healthcare, but is just simply stuffed inside. And then obviously this is what they're presenting at the grocery store.
The card that you're holding in your hand right now, that dollar bill card, the gift certificate, do you print those in-house right there in that office?
We print the specifics of it, the card and check stock and the security features, and the blank certificate is professionally printed. And then in-house, we would put the denomination and we can customize different things, but so yes and no.
Yeah.
Both, I guess, would be the answer.
So interesting. And how about the Christmas card with it? Do you guys do those, or you ship those out, or what do you do on those?
The cards themselves we ship them, but they're being printed by Salt Lake Mailing.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that. Okay.
And so we use them on accounts where we're going direct to homes. Obviously, some of our health systems are, 60,000 employees. And so those are much easier to be sent from a fulfillment standpoint directly to the employee.
And so that's when you use Salt Lake Mailing, and they'll ship all 60,000. It's out of your hands. Thank goodness.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we'll deliver the certificates to them. They'll manually insert them, print all the cards, and then do all the shipping.
I'm back to the trade show a little bit. Have you ever had anybody at the trade show on the spot say, "Sign me up"?
Yeah, I mean that definitely does happen, but it's not like we're taking orders at the trade show.
No. How do you get somebody signed up? You go back to the office, and what happens? What do you do?
Normally it's a process. So we're going to go through the artwork process. So if we have someone that really is hot, when we get back, we'll follow up with them. We'll set a conference call, and then we'll start working on the artwork and messaging process.
Are we talking the gift certificate itself is basically the same? Or are we talking about like the thank you card or the Christmas card?
The holiday card, yeah.
So who's your designers in-house that do those? Or do you just use the template?
Well, we use a template. In a lot of cases, what we'll do is send options of artwork, and then they'll send us back messaging. And then between us and Salt Lake Mailing, we'll create a printer's proof or a digital proof and send that off back to the client.
Okay.
So no, we're strictly a template and
Yeah.
yeah, nothing super custom, honestly.
You
And
know,
if it is custom, it's designed by that hospital system's marketing department.
I'm going to get off trade shows for a minute. Now I'm going to go to another topic, and that is a market and who do you want? It sounds like your sweet spot is anybody with over 1,000 employees, 1,000. It seems like you get real excited about that. You stand up and get off your duff and actually talk to them. And if it's under 1,000, you make Andrew do something, huh?
I think the real issue for us is the card component, meaning if they are doing a holiday card, that there's a lot more work in it with us. And so we need to see, 500 plus. You're right, though. 1,000 is really the sweet spot where all the work and coordination with the printing and fulfillment makes sense. We don't really like to talk about cards if they're, 200 or 300 or less, because it's just probably more work to us than it's worth. We'll sell them certificates all day long. Anyone in that 300 and below, we're glad for those clients. We have hundreds of them, if not thousands. But to directly engage Andre or I, that would be time consuming to do cards and fulfillment for a smaller order.
So tell me, you've got several products then. You got the gift certificates. That's the money maker.
Absolutely.
Okay, then you got the thank you card, we'll call it. That's kind of an additional thing. Do you make money off those cards?
Depends on the client, honestly. For us, the holiday card piece is the big differentiator between us and our copycats that have come along.
Tell me more. What do you mean?
Well, because they're just simply not doing it. Our previous business consultant that kind of stole our idea and quit being a business consultant and now has a firm is all online. It's pretty hokey. They do kind of say that they'll add cards, but they're just a little envelope the size of the certificate. And so this is one way that we create value compared to our competitors for these larger clients. That we'll take the fulfillment piece away. We'll make it more than just a certificate.
So you make money at all. You can make money off the thank you cards, but you don't make as much. Do you make money, pardon me, off of marking up Salt Lake mailings cost? You mark that up?
On large clients, we do, and on the smaller ones, we don't. I mean, it's the printing business. You know what it is. It's like the difference between an order of 1,000 and an order of 15,000, oddly enough, isn't really that great. It's just paper at that point.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. There's a PIN factor with pain in the neck. The smaller the client, usually the more of the pain in the neck they are. And you put in as much work and stuff. So where are your profit centers?
Oh, it's in the certificate itself.
Okay.
At the end of the day, and now Jason would probably speak more to this than me. He's in my office. You just can't see him on camera. But no, the printing is not seen as a big revenue piece for us. We're really just thankful for the big ones, the 60, the 30, the 15, the 12, those ones, because we can make some spread, and that probably covers, provides value, it keeps them coming back, and covers the spread where we might take some losses, honestly, on some of the smaller ones. Mm-hmm. So printing right now is not really seen as a real revenue center at all. It's just let's make sure we're not losing money.
I'm going to change subject again while Jacob's here. Stay awake, Jacob. You have a website, you have a logo, you have a brand already, whether you like it or not. And I told you this in the first meeting. You don't want to have some marketing guy come in here and shake up everything when things are working okay. What is wrong with your brand, guys? I already kind of told you a little old-fashioned.
Yeah.
But is that bad? Jake, you looked at this website,
Yeah, I've been looking at it. I mean, it can go both ways. You can go like kitschy Thanksgiving grandma's house. not to be rude or offensive, but it's warm, it's inviting. But there's also, it's a little outdated. I mean, I wouldn't suggest using like a drop shadow for the logo, but again, I don't think it's terrible. I've seen worse.
What did
Well,
go
we
ahead.
talked about it, and I think, Jacob, you're right. We don't want to drastically change the image. We don't, but a refresher. Maybe change the font a little bit.
Well, I was gonna say, like, the font's not terrible, but like if you want to stick to a script, warm, inviting thing, but have it feel more modern, not necessarily modern, but clean, because right now it is the drop shadow makes you feel a little cluttery a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think something simple and not too drastic. Like, do you guys have the documents for that as well? Like the PDFs or any of
For
the
the
files for that?
logo,
Yeah. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you're using it all the time.
yeah.
Do you guys have like a style guide maybe when somebody did this for you? Something
Jason?
that sort of guides you, like colors and
Style
stuff?
guide is the rules of what your brand is supposed to be. For example, we use this red, not this red.
Yeah, and like what fonts you're using.
Mhm.
Just so as like if you were to send it third party for then design, they can say, okay, they like the colors here. So when you go to print, it's not going to be scawampus. So.
That's a yes from Jason. We do have
Okay.
that.
Okay.
You do have that?
Great.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down as another thing that I want from you. So I'm gonna let you guys talk.
Yeah, but it sounds like you guys don't really want to necessarily completely overhaul your look. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I guess you should know, Jacob, that we had that site professionally built out for us last year.
Oh, you had this site done for you last year?
Yeah.
No. Wait. Let me clarify, okay? The site is like up to date, modern. When you guys were like telling me, I don't know who told me that you may want to redo the site. I think the site is great. I think replacing some iconography, such as your logo, or maybe even updating your certificates might really help your brand overall. I'm just saying your logo could use a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Website, great. It's really, I'm going through it and it's responsive. Like there's fun interactive things to it. Like, I don't think we necessarily need to touch the site, quite honestly. It's just your image overall. So.
No, and I think we're on the same page. And just to let you know, we were operating off like a 1989 website.
No.
Before that.
I could totally, I've seen this before where you like, and it's the vestige of your logo, what's left over. And I'm like, I could see with the transition that you guys did, but I'm like, okay, I think they just like missed some other things, like the logo could have been like slightly refreshed a little bit, but overall, I don't think the website's terrible at all, but honestly.
When we start working on your branding a little bit here, we show you things, and a lot of people think, well, can't you read my mind? And no, neither can your wife. And so what we do is we show you some ideas and some directions, and you say, you know what, we're going the right direction there. It's almost a negative process where we have to get rid of 99% of the ideas to find that one. So we will show you things, and then your first reaction is usually right. Usually you'll say, yeah, we're kind of onto something here. Getting warmer. So don't view the process as a negative. It is a process. Jacob.
Oh, no. I think Jacob's spot on. We did hold over some things from 1989 and just kind of lump them into a newer site.
But it's like, so for me being nostalgic, and I love, like, I was a product of the 90s, whatever. So it's like, I get the vintage vibe. It's almost too vintage. You know what I mean? Like, we can retain some vintageness, but let's just like tone it down a little bit, because like in the 80s and 90s, all of these features came out. They're like, oh, we can do drop shadow. We should do that. Like, just because you can do it, I don't know if we should do it. Like, so we're sort of recovering from that era in terms of like technology and stuff on like what you can do for logos. So
we always will be I think you're right. Like nostalgia and traditional, like that pushes the concept of our product, but we do want to feel like it's 2020.
You can do that and still retain that warmth grandma vibe. And that's what I guess that's what I'm really drawn to your site, is that warmth. Like when Peter sent me there, I was like, I want, like, Peter, we only have like, how many employees do we have? Like, get on this. I want a turkey. Like,
Listen, listen. If I went to a trade show, they would even send their dog to talk to me.
so I guess, Michael, I have a few questions. So I don't know. I mean, you guys have obviously had a meeting and stuff beforehand. What is our goal? Like, obviously, you want your sales to go up, clearly, and I'm the design side of that. Are we really gonna, like, what is your idea on, like, are we overhauling your look overall, or what were your ideas on that?
I think you hit the nail on the head that we need the certificate to feel more modern.
Okay.
Without losing some of the look of it, because obviously grocery stores are familiar with our brand all across the country, and we don't want to be so big in our change that now we're going to get pushed back in terms of accepting the certificate, because they're like, well, this is fraud, or
Well, it's funny you say that. Like, it does. So we have a grocery store in small, like Lehigh. I don't know where are you guys from?
we're in Orem.
Okay, so Lehigh, like Kohler's. I don't know if you've been to that store. Like, it has
Sure.
this nostalgic vibe. It's this time capsule of sorts. So, like, yeah, I mean, how do we go from kitschy 80s to retain some of that identity into today? Right? Like, and I'm sure we can send you some ideas on that, but I think that's what I'm hearing.
There's that cashier in Toledo, Ohio, who sees these every year. All of a sudden next year, if it's too drastic to change, they're going to call a manager
Yeah.
over.
And you got to be careful, because, like,
different.
yeah, I follow a lot of blogs that follow corporations who change their identity, and if it's so stark, you've completely lost your soul as a company, right? And I think that's what you're saying, like with the Toledo, person, and they're gonna be like, what is this? Like, they're gonna shove it to the side, without even knowing, right? And so, Peter, were you also working on what other things are we doing aside from design? Are you working on wording also, and direction and that, or?
Okay, when we're talking about the design, as part of the design, I am going to be working on the wording of the website a little bit. We're going to talk about messaging in just a minute.
Do you need your oxygen, by the way?
No.
Do you want to get your analyst?
Cog? What? Oh, me? Sorry. No, I'm feeling pretty good today, believe it or not. My wife was put in the hospital yesterday, so I slept really good last night. Sorry, Andre. You got to meet Wendy. My wife's Wendy, and she's wonderful. But as far as let me finish branding there, because I'll talk about message in a sec. I was thinking that somehow we need to look, and this is just me talking, because I know good branding when I see it, but I'm thinking of a Norman Rockwell, and I want to make him look a little more more valuable, if you know what I mean. And that might I don't know how we're going to do that, but I don't worry that I know that you will too. So as talking about branding, we'll work on the certificate itself, the website, and I just wrote down, I need you guys to mail me all of your printed documentations, anything that you got that's in print. I want to see your current business cards and things like that. You have cards? You have cards, don't you?
Yeah, we can I can put together.
Put together a little package for me, and of all that you have there. So, Jacob, do you have any more questions?
Look at these sweet babies right here.
Yeah. Look at those sweet. I'm telling you, it's weird, because my generation is like all about. I mean, every generation is for the most part. We love our, like, nostalgic. So that's. I mean, in some cults of design, they'd be like, yes, that's what
Jacob, those business cards are horrible. The day I've been here for 6 years now, and I've been saying those business cards are horrible for 6 years.
And you know what? Design actually affects everybody, and I'm going to go on my soapbox for 2 seconds, but people don't realize design affects everything, right? From the way what clothes you put on, what car you buy, and people don't realize it. And then you realize, like, why am I feeling so crappy in my office right now? Well, I got my blinds closed, right? I'm like pointing out your guys' thing, like, well, you got a thing back there, like, to make you feel that way. And so really being specific on design will really affect people's impression of who you are. So
let me give you a yin yang conversation here. I am a message king, meaning that I will design a business card without any art, or a brochure or a website without any word, just words, because I believe that the words have to sell and have to persuade and have to move. I used to do advertisements for newspapers when newspapers were king. They're not anymore. And all of my ads had nothing but text on them only. They looked like news stories, and they would make the phone ring because the message would be that strong. Then I got smart and I listened to Jacob, and he says, yeah, you could have strong message, but people are also buying that feeling and that mood and everything. So this is the good contrast here where I'm going to be focusing on, hey, does the word make me want to call you guys? Right now, the wording on your website doesn't make me want to do anything.
Well,
But
and why do you say that?
okay,
I'm using your philosophies here on who's your market, right? And when I go to your website, it's really for anybody. For me, I shouldn't be necessarily drawn to your website as a 31-year-old who's like, I want turkey. No, I should be a corporate person who's saying, you know what, this is specifically for businesses who sell turkeys to businesses. And
that is correct.
And it's hard to get that because it's like, well, I want to show a beautiful turkey, right? But I also want to convey who my market is.
That's what I'm going to be doing on my wording. When they go to the website, the wording is going to say, we are Perfect Feast. We know your problems, and here's how we're going to solve your issues and make you look good in the process. So there's no risk at all.
Just to narrow it down. I mean, like, obviously a corporate person can read you this and say, oh yeah, I think this is for me, right? Like, I just want it to be corporate turkey. Like, obviously, I'm trying to read your brand. Forgive me. I haven't read your whole website, but that's essentially your business, right? I mean, you are going towards businesses for this, or is like percentage wise, that's your.
Yes, 100% correct.
Okay.
We sell this to corporations as a holiday gift or an incentive in some cases.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I initially got after reading through it. But what?
Something that it didn't hit me. It's for their employees. It's not like a gift that the company gives to their customers. It's a gift that Brooks Advertising would give to his employees.
Okay. Which, are you going to give me a turkey?
Hell no.
Is that because my wife's a vegetarian?
That's right.
You don't have any tofurkey, do you?
We have vegetarian options, Jacob.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to, Jake, any more questions on branding?
I don't think so. And I'm like, obviously, if you hire us, we can go down this route. It sounds to me, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like we sort of want to scrape the old identity, but retain it. Do you know what I mean? Bring it into the 21st century, but still know your past. Mm-hmm. Okay.
By the way, when we're talking about branding too, you got to trust Jacob here too. By the way, I'm very leery to tell you branding things we've done for other companies, because you look at the other company, you think, well, that sucks. Well, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what they feel about themselves. For example, we just redesigned a couple of years ago the logo for Orem City.
That wasn't me.
Okay, it was you. You did it, and they loved it.
They pushed it. Okay. The client's happy. Like, okay.
Well, and so what we did was we created what is a document that said, okay, this is how you do your logo now. This is where you can use your logo and stuff like that. And my point was that across the board now, their business cards, their website, their forms, everything is kind of matching this look. And that's what we're going to do for you. That's what I'm trying to say. So whether you like Orem's logo or not, I don't really care. I mean, they liked it. I still like the one where the mountains look more like a boob than it did, but they didn't like that one. Sorry, guys. Sorry, but this is the kind of stuff you have.
That was not my fault. That was not my fault.
We needed more cleavage in those mountains is what they told us. It's really an interesting process too, and you guys are going to be easy to work with than a city bureaucrats. Okay, I'm going to go to another subject. If you're going to be compared to all your competitors and everybody else out there, and you were allowed to, you're making a pitch to somebody, what is the one thing that makes you guys different? And I think you hit it, and that was that having the card attached to it too. I mean, what's your unique selling point? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
It does make sense.
I'm sorry. Who is your competitors? I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt your question.
No, sure. That's a great question. So our primary competitors would be the new one that's on the scene that is, selling, is a company called Corporate Traditions.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dad. I interrupted you.
Yeah. No. Go for it.
Okay.
Then you're going to have bigger players like Butterball runs a proprietary certificate program. Norbest Turkey Company, depending on if they're alive or not any given year, they also run a proprietary certificate program.
Gee, thank you.
Gee, thank you.
Me, thank you.
G.
Oh, me like that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just the letter G. That was our previous business consultant. May he burn in hell. And
Was he actually a partner of yours?
No, he was hired as a business consultant. Yeah. And
Guys, if you need me to sign anything, I that just pisses me off. Again, I told you this in the breakfast that we're your stealth salesman. You know, I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Business model so much, he went back to Wisconsin and started it up.
Jerk.
We had another one like that, but he's kind of died. Turkeyandham.com. Turkey or ham, I think.
Turkey or ham.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry, I'm not laughing at it.
Andy, as you're listing these sites, I want to go back to your trade show for just a minute, and we're going to get back to message. Have you ever videotaped yourself at your trade show?
No, I can't say that I videotaped the interactions. We do take pictures of our booth and things of that to, critique layout.
By the way, right now, I told Jacob the purpose of this meeting is just we've got to gather information here, and so I'm putting that on my list too. If you got some booth photos, I would love to just see them. But we just want to see them because that's going to be part of your brand too. We're probably going to say, hey, we ought to consider doing this at your booth.
Yeah, and when talking about our competition, it's important to note that we've been competing, or we've been obviously marketing through trade shows exclusively, right? That's where we churn and burn. We're not even doing drip marketing to people we talked to last year, and that's an area we need a lot of help in. We are only selling what's right in front of us that year, and we've been able to sell quite a bit, and so it's never really been a concern until COVID hits and we can't do trade shows, right? But our competition hasn't been a concern until the last couple of years because they've been leaning heavily and been almost entirely online. Gee, thank you is 100% online. Turkeyandham.com, 100% online. And I think, who knows? Norbest is probably more outdated than we are in terms of their marketing. But we've always seen Butterball at trade shows, but our value proposition compared to Butterball is huge. So we don't even view them as competition. We consider them educating the market for us, really. And so we love seeing Butterball at trade shows, just because our products are very different and ours is far superior. But it's corporate traditions, these younger guys that do online market well, and now literally I think just track us and see what shows we go to and then, book booths at the same show. So they're probably out marketing us if we're being honest, because they obviously probably are handling the marketing or, keeping people warm over the years, or who knows, the stuff that we obviously don't do. And now they have an online presence and they're attacking trade shows. And so we've got to get sharper. We're the originators of this. We have a lot of copycats, but we just now don't want to get out hustled by people that are executing better than we are.
Andy, what percentage of your business every year is from past customers?
Oh, geez. I mean, our retention rate is so high that it's.
I like Zoom because it shows you whose phone is going off. The little yellow goes up. Peter, shut your phone off. What are you doing?
I just did. Everybody thinks I'm dying. I said, leave me alone, man. My daughter, Facebook. We got to stop Facebook. Okay, anyway.
So Jason in the background, who's more of the numbers guy, our retention rate is above 90%. Retention of clients. But actually, retention of certificates is normally higher because we get growth from the existing, this year they had more employees than they did last year. So our actual retention of certificates year to year is just off the charts. It's crazy.
I'm gonna when we're done with this meeting and in the next day or so, I'm gonna give you guys a mini marketing plan of what needs to happen here. I'm gonna tell you what needs to happen right now. I forget this. You said this at the breakfast, but the breakfast was so distracting that day. We need to kind of in phase one. Let's fix the brand a little bit. Phase two, we need to get you some of the right marketing tools, website, business card, and things like that. But phase three is where we're gonna make the money. We meaning you guys. And that is that we need to get you on some good marketing habits. And you have only 3 people that we're talking to. Number one is our customers, and we've got to come up with a customer plan to keep them forever. That's your bread and butter. And I would love to either get more out of them or just have them come back and do it again and again. But part of that third phase, okay, is the customers, is that group of people that are prospects that you just are not, you don't have a drip method or anything like that. And we can set you up on something like that, where you can either do it in-house or we can help you do it, stuff like that. Because, most people spend their time out in La La Land trying to bring in new people, but we got to keep what you already have. You don't lose any customers, which is nice. Well, you don't lose many, correct?
Correct.
Nice. But it sounds like you should be a $24 million company than an $8 million company because of the people that you just don't have time to follow up with. And I guess I'm going to go back to my original question. Do you have a mailing list of all these people that you've contacted? I mean, or are they like little cards in a box that you just got at the trade show?
Yes to both of those.
We'll get to that phase later on. There's some people that you're not going to follow up with. The companies with 20 people, and I don't know, maybe you will. Do you have any? Do you send out newsletters right now, or do you send out emails to anybody, or?
Not really.
Yeah, so that was the things that when you asked us, what are the projects that we wanted to start right now?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the logo branding is something that if we're going to change needs to happen right away. Certificates that Jacob mentioned. And then we need those email marketing that we talked about before, you helping us with. We need brochures and flyers and letterhead for our mailing campaigns that we want to do. And then obviously business cards have to go along with that because we send a business card with all of our stuff too. So that's something that's really important that we have to get done like now. That has to go. I don't know how fast or what's the time frame that you guys have for that.
I don't have a time frame, but I will put one together. Your season is starting up though right now, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah. So as an example, some of our larger hospital systems are already in contact with us, to start the artwork process. And, obviously the larger the system, they tend to start earlier. But
what do you do to get things going during the holiday season?
With previous clients?
Mm-hmm.
If they're a larger client and larger to us is 3,000 plus, they're going to get a personal contact from me or Andre or Jason, depending on who.
How do you guys divide up your customer list among you guys 3 salesmen?
Well, it's not that we have 3 salesmen. It's that some are house accounts that have been along for years and years, and Jason has that relationship from when Jason and I took over and bought out my dad. And then the growth since that point, it's mostly me, meaning if they're a bigger account, then I'm going to continue to manage that relationship. And so they'll get a direct contact from me if they're in the several thousand range.
When you contact them, do you just give them a call or send an email and say, hey, dudes, how many do you want this year?
No, it'll normally be an email just saying, hey, it's that time of year. Would you like to see some artwork options?
Why don't people leave you?
Honestly, because their employees appreciate it. It touches them in a different way than a gift card. I mean, we work in a low price point area. So this is blue collar workers. This is nurses. This is folks that meal being provided to them actually means something.
It's more valuable. Okay, a $30 gift certificate to Walmart as opposed to a $30 turkey is more value?
Oh, absolutely. It touches them on a different level. We're providing that family meal as opposed to, helping them buy cigarettes or beer.
Well, Peter and Andy's being really humble right now too. There's a lot of work that we do in the background for our customers and our clients that our competitors just don't do.
Like what?
For instance, Andy won an account last year, which is Andy's our biggest account, Stanford,
Yeah, yeah.
our biggest account. And him and I spent a week and a half in North and South Dakota, driving from town to town in the state, meeting with grocery stores just to let them know of the change of the program that Sanford is doing. So we literally stayed in podunk hotels and rented cars and drove through just to provide a level of service to this client. Now Sanford is coming back not because they can't get a gift certificate from Butterball, but because there's details of service that we provide to them that they're not going to get anywhere else. And that's the thing that I brought up in our meeting when we met. And I said, listen, because Andy, it was kind of that's a hard question. What do you provide that other people aren't providing?
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at it, because I see it, we provide a service that no competitor's doing. Do you think he's not doing? Corporate Digital's not doing it, and that is that we're going to get to know our clients, and we're going to provide them with a service that we're going to take the headache away. So all they have to do is call us and say, "Hey, I need this," and it's done.
Wow.
And they don't have to worry about it on the back end.
No, I'm absolutely impressed with the way you guys do things here. Last question for the meeting right now. I've been making a list of things that need to be done. Tell me what you think needs to be done. And what we're going to be doing, I'm going to give you now a formal proposal, something that you can read and talk about with me without me present. And what we're going to be doing, timeline, what I think the costs are going to be involved. But I want to know what projects, that you think we need to be doing. We've talked about everything from business cards to branding to direct mail eventually, which I absolutely love. And that's one of my specialties, is direct mail that gets a response. I love direct mail, especially for something like this. This is just an ideal medium. And believe it or not, direct mail is coming back because the internet, everybody wants to do internet, Anyway, so what do you think needs to be done?
I think because we have been living a churn and burn marketing lifestyle, now it's made us all a lot of money, but COVID has taught us that maybe that's not the most reliable form of, marketing. And
You're talking doing trade shows only.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And only doing what's right in front of us. That's been a big mistake. We realize that, and we've known it all along, but we've just been so successful selling what's right in front of us. It's been okay until now. So I think the biggest priority for us, since we're not hitting trade shows, is marketing to the contact information that we have. And we recognize that we might not want to do that until we get, one, professional help, and two, until we do some rebranding, because we haven't depended on the branding message ever before. We've depended on individual connections at a trade show, and we see that light click in a person, and we know we have them because they have a pain and we can fix it. And it's been an intimate sales process that we just don't have, and we might not get it back for next season. We just don't know. So we've got to pivot and get a little more modern. So I would say being able to market and not take a goose egg this year in terms of new sales.
Okay.
We'll be fine because we're going to make money, but we've been depending on that cycle of us, selling 10% of our overall book anew every year.
Okay.
So that's the biggest priority.
Your weakness is my strength. I am the king of stealth marketing, meaning that we are marketing so that our competitors are not really seeing what we're doing. We don't need to announce to all those guys what we're doing, and marketing by following up is just one of the best things that you could do, and you know that. But you need help with that. You need help with what do we say? What do we send? When do we send it? And things like that. And that's something we're really good at here. I'm going to make you a list and share it with you guys. Andre, you're my contact guy, so it better get down to the furls there, And
I got it.
Yeah. And I'm going to send you a list of things. I want to see that tax document you're your holiday cards. I want to see your booth photos, just anything you got. The more you can share with me, the better. And any more questions, Jacob? Any more questions before?
No,
Jacob, you probably guessed Jacob's my son. I hired him in high school 15 years ago as a secretary for minimum wage. By the end of the week, he was making too much money because I found out how good he was. Then he went and started designing snowboards for a living. Actually, you did it. They didn't want you to. They sued you to stop this. It was so funny. So he designs these snowboards, and this company says, "Hey, you can't do this." And I said, "Well, why don't you hire me?" So, but you'll like the stuff that we're going to do. But we're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it in the right order here, and I'll tell you what that order is in writing, so you can say, "Okay, that makes sense." And we'll go from there. Do you guys have any more questions or anything else?
Did you want me to send you a list of things that we want
Yes,
as our priority?
please do. Do that today if you can, Andre.
I'll do it right now and send it over.
Do it. Okay. And tell Jason.
then,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, Peter, but Dre, you've got his physical address. I think we should send him some physical materials, let him see the holiday cards, let him touch the certificate, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the one on the website?
No, I'm going to have you send it right to my main office. I'll email that to you in just a minute.
yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
No.
put together a packet and it'll get to you in today.
Okay. I'm going to
I'll
send it
just
to you
FedEx
right now.
it overnight to you today.
Hey, this has been a good meeting. We're going to continue to ask you questions, and they may be dumb questions. We are paying attention, but keep in mind, you guys have been doing this 1,000 years more than we have, and we will get up to speed, and we'll get moving on things here. Okay?
No, and don't take it as a slight or an offense, but we will send over some non-disclosure documents just because we've had some
Andy,
unfortunate
Andy,
situations.
buddy, listen. I'm videotaping this meeting. I'm going to put it on. I'll give you a copy of it. That we have no intent. We never have, and we want to be with you forever. Because we got a lot of projects going on right now, but down the road in a couple of months, we're going to be on what is called our maintenance plan, meaning that we're with you all the time. And I'm a firm believer that when we have these meetings and we throw our heads together, a magical fifth person is in the room. I'm not talking about Jason back there sitting in a Speedo. I'm talking about a fifth person that happened because we put our heads together here. And so, yeah, our intent, yeah, send me that non-disclosure, whatever. Not offended. I've signed 100 of them in my life, and I've only gone to jail twice. So, we'll be okay.
So just for Jason's sake, because he's the numbers guy, with your proposal, you'll have numbers today for us so we can take a look and. Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to give you options there too, and I want you guys to talk about it too. It's got to be totally win-win on everybody's end here too. See, we don't want to be like your lawyer, where you just give us a blank check. Well, we could do that. Well, yeah, do this, Andrew. Andrew, send a blank check with all the other stuff you're doing too, and we'll just fill it in whatever we feel good about.
Hey, I'll tell Jason.
And I said this in the beginning. I said this in the beginning too. We are going to act. This has been the worst onboarding that I've ever done in my life since 1984. I've got bad health. I'm sitting here dying. I can't breathe. I can't meet with you guys, but we really are excited about this. It's just a fun project, and we know how to help you. And anyway.
Well, if it makes you feel any worse, Peter, after our breakfast, we all tested positive too, and we've been quarantining here in the office for the last week.
Wait, you have not?
Yeah. You gave it to all four of us.
Oh, no, I did not. Did you guys really get COVID?
Yeah, we're quarantined in the office. We've been sleeping at the office for the last 5 days.
Andre, is he giving me that's I don't believe you guys.
That's the truth. He's speaking.
Okay. All right, man.
We're all healthy.
All right. Hey, we'll be talking more. It's in my hands now to tell you what we're going to be doing next. But of course, I'm going to wait for your emails, okay?
You'll have it in the next couple minutes. I'm doing it right now.
I can hardly wait. Okay, guys, I'm out of here.
Okay.
Jacob, thanks, guys.
Hey, Jacob, nice meeting you.
guys.
See ya.